Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gwenton Show. Today we've got a total different show for you today, and my guest that I've got on the show today is something personal. I've been doing this job for nearly 17 years now, working on the front line and as a manager around the whole serious violence sector. And it's a job that there's no really rewards for it, apart from people keeping themselves out of problems. And at the end of the day, you could actually see some benefits of what you've actually tried to install in them. But the majority of the job is seeing chaos, seeing the dark mist take over a lot of young people, seeing the darkness come over a lot of family and destroy the family for the rest of their lives. Not a lot of people are able to cope after a tragic incident. The mothers are affected, the fathers are affected, the siblings are affected, the grandparents, the person next door, the whole community is affected, even the social worker that worked with that family or the probation officer or the teachers. Everyone's affected. It's a ripple effect. Other parents are also scared because they don't know if the same thing going to happen to them. So today we've invited a mother on the show to tell her story. And for anyone out there to understand that this is real life, this isn't Hollywood, this isn't Top Boy. This is real life experience. Thank you, Jessica, for coming on the show. It's been a long time, but I didn't want to get you on here until the time was right. Yeah? Because I wanted to make sure that not only were we in the right space to host you, but you was also ready for what was to come after this show. You understand? Because I've worked with a lot of parents over the years. I deliver training for certain organizations that a parent have lost their children. And there's just something about you. And my energy and yours have clicked from the day we met each other. I had 3 or 4 people tell me about you in different settings, and I kept promising, I'm going to meet her, and then we ended up meeting anyway. So I believe that when things are meant to happen, it will happen. And we're just going to make sure that people understand your journey and see how people impact on mothers and other family members. But before we get into the journey of your son, Shaquan, we need to find out about who you are. Because a lot of the time people forget that you are also somebody. You understand? You haven't just piloted here. So just want to find out a bit about yourself. Where did you grow up, early memories and stuff like that?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Originally from St. Lucia.
Okay.
I came here in 1989, 6th of March. And it was because my uncle, he was dating a lady from St. Lucia, but the lady lived here.
Okay.
And I met them. They came to visit and they took a liking to me because of my ways, most probably.
Yeah.
And I ended up coming to England. I went through a lot, but because of my upbringing, I was able to work around it.
Okay.
And by living with them, I end up leaving their home because the way they were brought up, I was brought up completely different.
Yeah.
Because my mom raised us, although they never had, it was only my dad working. And I remember going to school and we never really had anything. You had to walk from your house to go to the town for school. And not all the time they have the money to pay for school. And for lunch, I can remember they buy bread in the morning, you pay 25 cents for a bread.
Yeah.
And then my mom would give us $2, would buy the bread. And that bread, we never had cheese with it. That bread, you would put a hole in the middle, pour some coconut oil. Okay. And then you would squeeze the lime, put a bit of vanilla essence, mix the sugar, you freeze it. And in the morning to go to school, you'd wrap the cup up with newspaper in order for you to take to school. And then I became friends with a lot of different people, and they were rich people who were more well off than myself. and they were able to buy school books and stuff. My mom didn't have the money to buy for all of us because there was 7 of us, me being the first daughter. And I can remember going to school, especially when in September you have to go in with all brand new uniform and stuff. Most time they'll make a school bag for you out of denim trousers. They'll pick up the trousers and then
sew it.
Yes. And maybe you have one textbook. And then I had my aunties in the States who used to send school books. They would send pencils, pens. And then you'd have, sometimes if you don't have the bag, you'd have a carrier bag, which is the thing you buy in a shop now for
the plastic bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'd have your school bag. You'd have that with the one textbook in it. Sometimes I pick up mangoes, or my grandmother, because I was brought up with my grandmother, and she would take me to we would go down by the river or something, and we would get guavas. I would sell the guavas to make the money. I would pick coconut, climb the coconut tree.
You climbed the tree?
And why not? And I would get the coconut, bring it for a lady. She would make turnovers and stuff. And then I would get a free one. And then that free turnover would last me. And then we have to make our way back to the house. Sometimes we get home late because we would stop and climb we would climb mango trees, the tamarind trees. And sometimes if you get home late, you better wait for the telling off, and not only telling off, they will beat you.
Yeah.
But over here, they take it a different, when you say you beat somebody, they take it different.
As abuse.
Yes, but it wasn't, because my mom was just raising us. And the way she was raising us in order for us to learn how to respect others. And not only respect others, but to understand that life wasn't something that was made for us, or it was just there and we could expect everything to just come to us. You had to work for it. There are days we didn't have proper dinner, but we had to make do with it. We had the breadfruit. If the leftovers from the night, the morning we would warm it up and eat it. And it never killed me. It made me a better person. And today I'm grateful for that, because I used that and did the same for my children here and make them understand that it's not everything in life you can have, and you have to appreciate things. And I raised my children here, not for me only, but I raised them for the whole world.
Yeah.
I may not have had, but I was there. And with all my illness, because at that time I was sick, but didn't even know I was struggling. And you know what? I used that and made something of it. I came to this country with nothing, and today I'm still living, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I went through, but I'm okay. And my children are good.
So when did you start motherhood?
Chantel was born in October, 6th of October, 1994.
Okay.
And Chantel was my first, and Shakwan was born in 97, 13th of March, and Andre was born the 3rd of June, 1999. And I raised them by myself. It's not all the time the dad was there, but I had to work and do whatever I had to. At that time, I was working in McDonald's. I have to leave home. When I had Chantel, I had to leave home like about 5 in the morning, and I have to get up, get Chantel ready to drop her by my uncle's house. And sometimes the lady go to work because she used to work in a school.
Yeah. And
I have to bring Chantel and pray to God that Chantel was okay. I would leave her in the bedroom and she would fall asleep because she used to suck her thumb. And I would say, Mommy will come back, and then I have to be home for about 4 o'clock, pick up Chantel, bath Chantel, get Chantel ready for bed. And the next day, the same thing. Some days I work on weekend, but my life was about my children. I got involved in schools, doing things, became a parent governor because I wanted to learn, because I wanted the best for my children. And it wasn't easy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the time people look at that and think people that come here from other countries are just here to take their jobs. They don't understand that people do the jobs that no one else wants to do. So if you wanted the job, it wouldn't have been left there for other people to take. So no one didn't take your job. So as we move forward, how was it when your children were in school and learning and that?
When while Chantel was in school, I was working in McDonald's, and then something happened. I went to the hospital at Whittington for an eye test, and when we got there, there was a doctor named Dr. Scardin. He did some tests, and he was checking the back of my eye, and he said, "You have a problem." And I'm thinking, what problem? Because I used to suffer with a lot of headaches, but did not know what was causing it. And he said, the veins in the back of your eyes are so swollen, and you can go blind. We need to see you at the National Hospital for Neurology. And when I went there, they said to me, I suffer with BIH, which is pressure on the brain.
Okay.
And then I went in there, they take fluid from my spine, and I had to lie flat for a while, but the third time I wasn't lucky. It swelled up my brain, and I end up in hospital, wasn't able to do anything. Somebody had to wash me, and the children end up, in fact, they wasn't in care, but somebody used to come in and help me. Yeah, family. I had a lady which I take as my sister, Heidi. Heidi used to come iron the uniform because I had to make sure my kids were well presented. So I had to wash, and it's white shirts they were wearing, and you want their shirts to be clean.
Look clean, yeah.
So I used to use the blue soap, wash it, and get them ready for school. And they had 7 sets of shirts, 1 for each day.
Yeah.
And they had like 3 skirts, and then we used to change it on a Wednesday and so forth.
Okay.
And I used to drop them at school. Imagine, I was just saying when I was coming down, I was saying to Anthony how I washed my children until Chantel started secondary school.
Yeah.
But I had to make sure that they were clean and nobody complained or say they were smelling.
Yeah, I think
it's old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people find that strange. I know a few Caribbean parents where their children still sleep with them in the bed, and people think, "Why your son or daughter in the bed?" But it's just
how we were brought up.
Everyone live as one, and your family come round. There's no, if you all have to sleep on the floor, you all sleep on the floor together. But it was, we're gonna make do with what we've got. And even you talking about washing the shirt bring back memories of my mum, because washing machine or not, she would have used her hand, and even without a brush, she would have washed the shirt without the brush.
But that's how I started, because I was living in a 1-bedroom with the 3 of them, and I never had a washing machine.
Yeah.
So I had to put the clothes in the bath and wash it by hand, wring them and then dry it. I didn't have a cooker or nothing until the children's grandparents got a second-hand cooker for me. But that didn't make me less of a person, because I was already used to it. I understand the life that I was living in St. Lucia. So not because I came to England to think I was better than anybody, but I wasn't. I was just Jessica, that's all.
And I think a lot of people come in, get confused and lose themselves. And I've had my gran on this show, and my gran said the same thing when she come here in the late 50s. She had to learn the system herself, but it never changed her. Who she is, she still has her soup on a Saturday regardless. You understand? And she won't waste a penny. And she's nearly 90 years old, so it shows you. And even my granddad just turned 100. He's now gone up to heaven. But him as well, he carried his wallet everywhere with him. I remember once I offered to buy him chicken and chips, and he got upset. And I said, "What's wrong? I'm not asking you to pay." He said, "Son, I don't eat on the road. I'll have a patty. That is as far as it goes. We don't eat outside." He said he had probably fish and chips once. This is a man that was nearly 100. He's not eating outside. So there's certain principles that stay with you for the rest of your life. And when you become a parent and your children start doing certain things, it becomes testing, because you're like, you don't understand what life's really about. But then you have to understand again, they're growing up with different environment. And the more that you try and structure them into what we believe is the right thing, they're not.
They call us old-fashioned.
Yeah, you understand, but it's, you know why you're doing it. And I think that's some of the things, that the hurdles that parents go through when they've been brought up a certain way and want their children to grow a certain way. So as we move in, we're coming close to why we actually here. It's about people understanding that you was a mum raising your children and doing all you can to give them everything they wanted. Because a lot of the time people get confused and think, oh yeah, because you're working all the time, you've not got time for your children. And they don't understand what the word sacrifice means. Yeah. And it's about doing until you could actually have everything you need. Do with what you can until you have whatever you need. So when we talk about moving into secondary school and everything like that, how were your children in secondary school?
They were quite good because they were willing, although sometimes they will be around friends and want to be like friends. But if they were to go to parties, I would go to the party with them.
Yeah.
Chantel did not like it, but I would take her to the party and sit down in the place to see what was going on. She used to hate it, but I didn't have a choice because I'm saying, no, you're too young to be going. I never allowed them to go for, like to sleepovers and stuff like that. That wasn't the, I said to them, I didn't know about these things.
Yeah.
You understand? And I had to do what was right for them.
So how did you feel? Because I've gone through that myself where you've been asked, oh, could I go here and there? You're like, wait a minute.
I used to say no.
Yeah.
Plain black, no. And they used to sometimes call their dad because the dad wasn't living with me and say to the dad, oh, mommy said no. And no is no.
Yeah.
And they used to be upset with me, but they get over it after a while. So I wasn't too bothered.
No, that's good because sometimes they make you feel so bad because all their friends are able to do whatever they want, and then you're the one parent that's saying no to something. But I think it's also parenting from a place of fear.
True.
Because when you worry a lot as a parent, you then do certain things because you think you could prevent everything from happening. A lot of young girls go out to parties and they're being date raped now, where people are spiking their drink and sexually assaulting young girls. I remember the other day a friend of mine went out with his daughter and her cousin, and he said there was 2 floors and he's on one floor, his daughter and cousins on the next floor dancing. And before he knows it, the cousins come and got him and said, listen, your daughter is like, she's drunk, but beyond drunk. And it was, they probably left their drink somewhere, someone's dropped something in there, thinking they were alone. But the good thing that the dad was there in the same party as her, so he was able to take her home. But then you have to wonder how many other young girls are going out and people are spiking their drink, because some people think it's funny or I want to see how you look when you're drunk and all of that stuff. Or drugs, or they give them drugs just to see how they act when they're under the influences. So it's not always about trying to rape someone or assault someone. Some friends will do it just to see how you react, whether you don't smoke. I remember I had my own family members saying to me, oh, because you don't drink or smoke, tonight we're going to get you drunk. And I'm like, no, you're not, because I'm not going to drink whether it's your birthday or Christmas or whatever. So sometimes people try and pressure people into doing things. So we've moved secondary school, and then all of your children finished secondary school?
Everybody, they did their GCSEs apart from Andre. Andre didn't get to do his GCSEs because by then Shaquan got stabbed when Andre was about 15.
Yeah.
Getting ready to do his GCSEs.
Okay, so you speak about Shaquan getting stabbed there. So my thing was, and we want to clear it up, your son wasn't involved in any gangs or nothing like that?
He wasn't. At the time, he was doing his A-levels.
Yeah. And so he's doing his A-levels, and then you walk us through that, because for the first time I heard yesterday you speak about it, and if I'm being honest with you, it's something that, when you know something, but we don't need to sit down and talk about it. So even hearing you say it yesterday, it was killing me inside, but I know why you were doing it. You understand? Because there was a lot of young people in there, and I always look and think if even one of them we could save with you sharing your journey. So I just want you to not get too deep in it, but just explain about how we got to that day where your son's doing his A-levels, and then the next thing you know, you're getting that knock at the door.
Shaquan was doing, at the time, he was studying he did his GCSEs.
Yeah.
And like I said, him and Chantel was in competition about who going to get the highest grade in maths,
Yeah.
because they both love maths, whereas Andre loves English.
Okay.
And it so happened that Shaquan got a B and Chantel got the A.
Okay.
So he went and he said he wanted to go and to make money.
Yeah.
So before that, Shaquan used to work as going and deliver newspaper.
Paper round.
Paper round,
Yeah,
that's it. So
yeah.
he used to leave my house and go over to Archway
Okay.
every morning, and he used to go do the paper round and then come home, get ready, and then go to school. And he used to go to school he used to go to secondary school in Enfield.
Okay, that's a bit way.
Yeah, and then Shaquan, after doing that, he went and sat his GCSEs and then moved over to La Swap. Now, I was scared because I was running away from knife crime, because I know of people who got stabbed and stuff like that. And I always used to talk to him and always used to warn him. Nung, remember, I call him Nung.
Yeah.
I used to say, Nung, remember, you going out there, you representing me, your mom. Be a leader, not a follower. Do what is right for you, because you're going out there to get an education for yourself. Because remember, you're not learning for me, you're not learning for your dad, you're doing it for yourself. But at the same time, you're still representing me. And he went for a job with Waitrose. And when he came back, he said, Mommy, I will get that job, you know. When he came back home, he said to me, Mommy, there were loads of children there, young people. But Mommy, they were so noisy. They were misbehaving in there. And I said, you know what? I came there for a reason. I'm going to behave myself. And he said to me, Mommy, I went in and the man was so happy. I behaved myself nicely and stuff like that. And he came back, he got the job.
Okay.
But when he got the job, he was already working, because he left the paper run and he was doing some work with Tottenham Hotspur. He used to serve.
Okay.
And there was a lady in there that loved him. Nobody could have said a word about Shaquan. That lady would say, this is my son, please leave him alone. But he was always a nice person, just like me, because they used to follow whatever I say or listen and do it. And then Shaquan started with Waitrose, came home and he said, Mommy, within 3 months, I'll give you a card and you'll be able to get discount. I was so excited, because you know Waitrose is expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shaquan started. He left. I've still got the little piece of paper where he gave me the time and the days that he would be working. So he used to go on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and on a Saturday when they have sports, he used to work on this Saturday in Tottenham.
Spurs, yeah.
Right. So I had uniforms of him. The first time he wore the Waitrose uniform, I had that. And on that Friday, I can remember when he left when he came, he went to school, because he used to do his A-levels, come home, get dressed, and then go to work in the evening. But I used to be so scared, because I'm thinking, oh my God, what will happen to him? You know, fears. You understand? You live in fear, isn't it?
It never stops.
Yeah. But anyway, he went. That Friday, he came home. When he came home, he went upstairs, changed his clothes, and said, Mommy, I'm getting ready for work. But he dressed up, but he was very vain. He used to say to me, Mommy, look at your peng, son. That's why I say to you, Mommy, you need to have swag. I'll never forget when this little boy come dances, the way he will pose up. And if the girls say to him, Shakwan, you know, you put on a bit of weight. This boy went and registered in a gym near my home to lose weight, because it was just for the girls. That's the problem I would have had with my son, girls, because he had so many different girlfriends. This boy would be upstairs on a phone talking to all different girls. And he would say to me, I would go upstairs and say, no, what you doing? And he said, Mommy, shh, I'm on the phone. I say, if you talk to this girl, I will call this other girl and I will tell her.
Yeah.
And you say, Mommy, if you tell her, I will take a picture of you naked and send it for them. And I used to stay there and laugh at this boy. But that Friday when he left, I can remember him walking down the stairs. He came out from the upstairs, walked downstairs. I walked down with him. And I said to him, Nung, remember to keep safe. Be a leader, not a follower. So I had a neighbor named Rachel. She lived further down from me. Rachel came and she said, Jess, leave him alone. You know your children are well behaved, so leave him. And he said, they're good kids. Just leave him alone. So Nung left. He walked up on the hill, and all he did was wave me goodbye. And that was the last time I saw my son. until I got that knock on the door the Friday night. Wasn't expecting that. And I was in the kitchen getting their stuff ready. Because that time Chantel was in her second year in university. But it was hard.
And this is the part where I say people think it's just easy, and it how long has it been now?
The 30th of January next year will be 8 years.
8 years, and it's still as fresh as if it was yesterday.
It's so hard. Sometimes when I look at his pictures, oh God, it breaks my heart, especially right now. When I think about it, Christmas is coming and that empty chair is still there in the kitchen. And my son is not coming back. He's not going to be back. It's so painful, but I have to be strong for Andre and Chantel because I know they're feeling it and I know Andre is feeling it, but they won't say anything because they're trying to protect me, trying to be strong for me. But I'm telling you, to be honest, it's not easy. Every day having to live with that fear. My son is never going to come back. Especially me going into court, seeing that person who killed my son. And his behavior was horrible. Especially when he put in not straight after they did he had the sentencing. This boy, his parents said it was a lie and she was going to appeal, which she did. And I was really, really upset because the law, the way I look at it, the law was more on the perpetrator's side than they were on the victim's side. And I remember Shaquan trial, it only lasted about a week. They took, how do you call it,
deliberation.
Right, yeah. The Monday. And then the Tuesday, the thing, it started. And then the Thursday, they round up everything, and we had the sentencing on the Friday, and I had to then go back home because they didn't have, I think that the jury never came to some sort of, how you call it?
The decision, yeah.
Right, and I'm not used to this thing because I've never been in no court in England. And then I had to go home and wait till the Monday to go back into the Old Bailey. And then on the Monday, they found him guilty of murder. And the way the parents was carrying on, straight after the December, I had to go back into the Court of Appeal where the boy put in an appeal and said they never took his age into consideration. And that boy is the same age as my daughter. He was born in 95. Chantel was born in 94.
Yeah.
And when we went there, the way he was laughing when the three judges were saying how he killed my son, that really hurt.
Again.
And some people expect me to say, I forgive. No, I cannot. I find it hard. I say, when God ready to say, okay, God will come to me one day and say to me in a dream and say, it's now time for you to forgive, then I can. But for now, no. I'm not going to do it for no fame because that fame cannot bring my son back. And hence the reason why I set up this foundation in memory of my son to try and educate young people about the implication of using a knife and how it's destroying not only us as victims, but family, friends, community. Every one of us is being destroyed by this knife. And I just don't know what to say again. I just don't know, because I'm out there and I'm doing this thing. And like I keep saying, I'm not there to judge the young people. I'm not there to talk at them. I'm not there to tell them what to do. It's up to them. I can only but just help them and try and point them in the right direction, because that pain where I'm going through every single day, I do not wish nobody else to go through this pain because it's hard. I've had 3 breakdowns and I didn't get no help from Islington. I got the help from the police in Harrow. PC Adrian, Claire Ginger took me to that hospital, stayed with me until they found a proper help for me. They drove me back to my house and they were checking on me all the time, and I'm very, very grateful to them. And today, because of me going in and share the story, they made me know that, Jessica, I cannot do the work that you do, I cannot change the children, but you can, because I've been doing it for years and not one child listened. But you stepped in and you've been doing that talk, and you see the amount of children you've changed their life. I said I didn't change their life. They changed their life. The credit doesn't come from me or come to me. The credit goes to the young people. So we have to acknowledge them, not me. Because my son is gone. And if I can make a difference, I will try my best to do so. And these police officers haven't left me. They set up that thing where I go now into the Old Bailey, and I've been doing it now for 4 months. Going in there, as difficult as it may be, I just need to do it. And that's why I'm doing it, because of the love I have for these young people. Because I owe it to them. They're my children too.
As you've seen, this is the whole reason why I invite my own son here today. Because sometimes as parents, we don't want to tell the truth. And you have to make sure that you see you're doing everything for them. You understand? And for them to see the pain that you're feeling. Yeah? And for his friends and other young people and other parents that know that they've got sleeping killers in their house, because I work with a lot of families and they know that their children wake up every day to kill people, and exactly what you said, they will defend their children to the end, even after their children they kill people. And I think that's one of the most hurtful things for me watching every day, is where parents will blame everybody else
But not themselves.
For their children. And no matter what their children do, they will always make an excuse for them, or try and clean the mess that their children caused. And I think that's why a lot of these children do what they do, because the parents will, regardless how blatant it is in their face, fight for their children, even when they're wrong. Point blank, you could even catch their children on camera doing something, they will still make an excuse for their children. And I think one of the things that I would want to say for any parents out there watching is, the same way you want to protect your child. Jessica's lost her son. And if your son needs help, get them the help that they need, because you see here, Jessica's heart's broken forever. There's no sort of fixing her son being gone. And it could be your brother, your sister, your mum, even the dad sometimes cause a lot of these problems, because the dad wants to pretend that this sort of behavior is okay. Yeah? We look at the pain that we're causing here, and this isn't something that is an overnight thing. It hurts.
Because we have other parents where I work with, and they haven't had an ounce of justice. These parents have to go back into the Old Bailey, and for somebody else to tell them that we have no evidence, we have nobody to be able to fight their case. Or we have some of the perpetrators going into prison and being told that they only spend maybe 6 years for taking the life of your young person. And we have to suffer. And they are able to go on social media and post rubbish, making us feel bad, but we get in all the blame. And probation and them people, they just don't understand. They make so many excuses, which I think it's wrong. Why should we suffer? There's mothers out there that haven't had no kind of justice, where I don't call it justice. Okay, yes, they put that person away for taking the life of our young people, but that person still have a life. That person is still eating, still breathing. And what do I have? We only have that cemetery where I go in sometime during the summer, and sometimes I find it so difficult going into the cemetery, having to leave that cemetery, and my son cannot go with me. I came with 3 of them, and now I have 2, and I'm living in fear every single day for the 2 others that I've got, thinking that somebody will do the same thing like they did to Shakwan. And Shakwan wasn't a bad person. He was a good boy. I raised this boy with everything I had, just like how my mom raised me. Because my dad and my mom did a good job, regardless them not having. And Shakwan them didn't know. Because sometimes when I don't have the food, the rice, I would give it to them with butter. It never killed us. It never killed none of them. And today, look at the pain I'm left with, the struggles I'm having. And I just have to cope. I left once because I had a breakdown, and it was one lady who paid the ticket for me and sent me to the States to my mom. I spent 3 weeks and then came back here, and I'm back to the same thing again. And what do? I don't know what to do. All I can do, the thing that is helping me, is by me going into schools, talking to these young people, because it's a form of counseling for me. But everybody say, oh, Jessica, you need to move forward. Jessica, you need to do this. But you're not walking in my shoes. You don't know what I go through every day. What am I to do? I don't know.
And this is something that I've heard from other people that have been around that's lost their children. Is I can't just sit in the house because I'll go crazy in the house. And whatever gives you therapy, that's what you need to keep doing. Because people could say whatever and give you whatever advice, but nobody's living what you're living. You understand? So regardless that people want to care for you and think that they've got the right path for you, it's about what works for you. Because everyone's different. I got certain parents that they just disappear. They can't cope with all this public stuff. They've been doing it for years, and after a while they're like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and just live quietly. So if whatever you're doing is helping you, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as I said, whatever support you need, you know already, you got people around you that will go all out and make sure that you're okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
And going forward, what have we got planned?
I just want to do something in memory of Shakwan for his 8th-year anniversary, and to continue making the young people proud as to what I have to offer. And what I'm saying to them and parents is, we need to sit down, listen to our children, learn from them, because sometimes they may say certain things to us where we may not like, but we need to try our best to educate them, and in order for them to grow up and make us proud people too. Don't hold back, especially in cases where we know they've committed a crime or they've done something bad. We need to make them understand that it is wrong. We need to bring them forward and make them know, because this snitching thing is not helping. I remember how long I had to wait for this young boy who killed my son to come to justice. I had to travel and bury my dad in the same year, because I lost my dad the September to cancer just after Shakwan's death. And to the young people, choose a life, not that knife. Be leaders, not followers. And remember, Auntie Jess love you guys. Like the policeman in Harrow, I keep calling their name, but they are the one who have my back. Like they keep saying, Joe, you know, you keep saying, Mama Jess can do it. And I'm going to try my best to do it. Love to all you young people. And remember, I love you guys with everything I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Been a hard one, but we got through it. Yeah,
Amen.
and we're gonna push forward, because unless we reach these young people before they end up not only killing someone's child but killing themselves as well, because I don't know how you could kill someone and live. And I think some of that acting like they don't care is a part of bravado, because either no way you could sleep good at night knowing what you've done. So they also need to seek forgiveness from the families who they've damaged, and that day will come where you get your apology. You understand?
Yeah.
Because there's no way you could just live thinking what you've done is okay. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So for the viewers out there that's watching this, it's about you understanding the pain, everlasting pain that families are feeling out there. And some things that we might think are simple, once you cross that invisible line, there's no coming back. Don't allow peer pressure to make you cross the line. Don't allow your ego to make you cross the line. If you're hearing voices or whatever medication you're on, is making you think you could do whatever you want, ask for help. And also to the parents and families out there, if you know that your children is a potential killer and they're actually torturing you in the house, because something we ain't talked about, where a lot of parents are being beaten up by their children, please ask for help. And you could be the next door neighbor. Ask for help before it's too late. Please put down the knives and the guns and let's not destroy any more lives and come together.
My channel is the truth. Like, subscribe, and share.